Source, this is the Fairbanks Evening News.
Good evening and thanks for joining us for this Monday, December 17th edition of the Fairbanks Evening News. Stephanie Woodard is on vacation. I'm Daryl Clark. Mike Schultz is here. Our top story tonight is the severe cold that has gripped the interior recently. Now, Mike, is there any relief in sight?
Actually, Daryl, some relief is on the way. Okay. After dropping down to 48 below at the airport this morning, the coldest December reading since 1999, officials at the airport say we should be seeing some moderating of the temperatures beginning tomorrow.
Well, the fairly moderate cold air that's over us right now is probably not going to go anywhere anytime soon. However, we got a weakening weather system over western Alaska, and the remains of that's going to move into our area later Tuesday night in through Wednesday night. That'll bring clouds and some flurries during that time. After it dissipates, we'll have the cold air with us to a fair extent as we go towards the end of the week.
I'll even have some more encouraging news later on. We talk about more weather in general.
Okay, thank you much, Mike. Appreciate it. Okay, also in the news tonight, an unidentified man was rushed to Fairbanks Memorial Hospital after being involved in a 3-vehicle accident near North Pole. North Star Volunteer and North Pole Fire and Rescue got the call just after 4 p.m. responding to the intersection of Holmes and Dennis Road. Eyewitnesses at the scene say the victim apparently had been helping tow another vehicle that had stalled along the roadway. The eyewitness, who refused to give his name, was the driver of the 3rd vehicle. He says the victim was in between a Ford pickup and the stalled Dodge SUV as he was traveling on Dennis. He says he did not see the 2 vehicles in the ice fog until it was too late, his pickup rear-ending the SUV and crushing the victim between the Ford and the Dodge. North Star Fire Chief Jeff Tucker urged caution to motorists on the roadways.
Yeah, very careful. It's very dangerous out here right now. We're having lots of little accidents. The ice fog is pretty thick everywhere. It comes upon you real quick, and you just got to be very careful. Drive slow. Can't be in a hurry in this fog.
This could have turned out a whole lot worse.
Could turn out a whole lot worse. Hopefully it'll be all right. Looks pretty good, but you know, it's dangerous out here right now. Drive slow. It's cold. Be prepared to go out in these cold conditions. Dress warm and have the right, you know, just drive slow.
The state fire marshal is investigating a structure fire that claimed the life of a 61-year-old man from the interior Athabascan village of Fort Yukon. Authorities got the call around 10:30 Saturday morning. Details were still sketchy as of news time, but sources close to the news center identified the man as Fort Yukon resident Walter James. Now, it's not known just what caused the fire or how James died. Of course, News Center 11 will have more on this story when information becomes available. Well, earlier today, the City of Fairbanks' Bed Tax Committee allocated a total of $270,000 to 24 different local organizations. Groups, organizations, or businesses meeting the criteria of promoting the city, aiding in the economic development, and encouraging tourism to the Fairbanks area all received money after first meeting with the 6-member committee. That came after filling out an extensive packet in hopes to get the funding. Now, the largest chunk of the $270,000 pot of money, as has been customary, went to the Fairbanks Arts Association as they garnered just over $57,000. Officials there say the money is spread to over at least 10 smaller programs within that one agency. Nordic Ski Club of Fairbanks received the smallest amount at just under $2,100. Now, the Hotel Motel Bed Tax Committee was appointed to their positions by Fairbanks City Mayor Jerry Cleworth and is headed by Fairbanks City Councilman Jim Matherly. With her parents, 2 daughters, and a crowd of well-wishers sitting nearby, Bethany Harbison officially joined the Fairbanks Superior Court bench as a judge late Friday afternoon. Governor Sean Parnell appointed Harbison to the Superior Court earlier this year. Harbison replaced Judge Randy Olson in the Fairbanks Superior Court. Olson retired last summer. Harbison served as a magistrate and master in Fairbanks and also served for 10 years with the Alaska Public Defender Agency. Harbison now joins Judges Douglas Blankenship, Michael McConaughey, and Paul Lyle on the Superior Court bench. Reached for comment, she says it was an honor to be appointed to the position.
I'm just so grateful and so humbled by being selected by Governor Parnell for this position and being given this trust, and it's just a very happy day for me and my family. I have my mom who's come up and just lots of my friends and family. My daughters are here to robe me, and this is just a very special day for us.
Okay, when we come back, local police help make holiday wishes come true for disadvantaged youth, and Soroptimus International provides gifts to area seniors over the weekend. Please stay with us.
This edition of the Fairbanks Evening News is brought to you by Northland Hearing Services. Better hearing with a human touch. Fairbanks Memorial Hospital, community owned. And by American Tire and Auto, your total car care solution.
And welcome back to the Fairbanks Evening News. Fairbanks police seized 4 guns from several members of the military early Sunday morning after receiving a report of shots being fired in the parking lot of Denny's restaurant on Airport Way. City police say no one was arrested at the scene, but that doesn't mean possible consequences aren't forthcoming. They say those involved have had their names forwarded to the U.S. Army's Criminal Investigation Division at Fort Wainwright. Police got the call just before 3:30 Sunday morning and seized 3 pistols and 1 shotgun at the scene. At least half a dozen Fairbanks police officers and Alaska State Troopers responded. Hawaiian Senator and Senate Pro Tempore Daniel Inouye passed away today at the Walter Reed National Medical Center due to respiratory complications. The long-serving senator and Medal of Honor winner was a close friend of the late Ted Stevens, and his death is being mourned in both Alaska and his home state of Hawaii. Both Alaska's senators expressed their sorrow on their Facebook pages. Senator Mark Begich called Inouye a staunch ally of all Alaskans. Senator Lisa Murkowski called the late senator a hero, statesman, patriot, and true friend to all Alaskans. The controversy surrounding redistricting around the state continues to make news. The local attorney representing 2 Interior residents says he continues to await a ruling from the state's highest court in hopes of creating change. Mike Wallery gave an update on the redistricting dilemma Friday afternoon during the Interior Democrats luncheon held at the Westmark Hotel. Wallery represents Esther residents Gerald Riley and Ron Dearborn in their suit against the state redistricting board. Earlier this year, a Superior Court judge in Fairbanks ordered the board to redraw 3 Fairbanks area House districts and another one in the Aleutian chain. Judge Michael McConaughey, in a lengthy ruling, determined that House districts 1, 2, 37, and 38 were not in harmony with the state constitution.
Well, it's our view that that there were real problems in the last election, in that of course the plan was admitted to violate the Alaska Constitution, and those violations were excused because of a perceived need to comply with the Voting Rights Act. The problem is that the districts, particularly 38, House District 38, did not perform. The Native preferred candidate did not win. And so it raises real questions as to whether or not District 38 was done properly in order to comply with the Voting Rights Act. It's our position that it wasn't.
The state's newly drawn political boundaries based on results of the 2010 census were challenged by Riley and Dearborn, who alleged the new boundaries would dilute the representation of voters in the new districts. They claimed the plan violated Alaska constitutional standards for such things as compactness and socioeconomically integrated districts. The board had said its greatest challenge in developing a plan was ensuring that the voice of Alaska Natives was protected in the political process. Well, it is that time of year again. The Fairbanks Police Department, along with other local law enforcement agencies and organizations, partnered up with a major retailer to brighten the holiday season for some special kids. The Shop with a Cop took center stage at Fred Meyer West late Friday evening. Now, the shopping spree comes courtesy of donations from the community. Police officers paired up with a young person to help them choose gifts for friends and family. Fairbanks police officer Scott McCumbee called it an honor to play a role in the lives of our youth. And while many regular shoppers were left wondering about the huge law enforcement presence inside the store, McCumbee says it's all about the kids.
Absolutely, it's a great cause. 40 local kids were nominated by their high school their elementary school counselors to participate in this program. Kids that probably otherwise wouldn't be able to have a Christmas or had a loss of a loved one recently, something of that nature. Something that we can do to brighten their spirit and help them out through this holiday season a little bit. I think we get a lot more out of it than the kids do. It's great to be able to give back to the community and build those positive relationships with kids at a young age. Let them know that police are here to help and that we do care. So
you're not always the bad guy.
No, not always the bad guy.
It was Christmas time for some local senior citizens in Fairbanks this past weekend. News Center 11's Monty Bowen has the story.
This is from the senior wish tree.
Oh, thanks.
Yes. All right. Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas.
The Senior Wish Tree is a program that was previously operated by the U.S. Marine Auxiliary.
This is from the Senior Wish Tree. And Sir Optimus wish you a Merry Christmas.
Well, thank you.
Thank you. You have a great day. Merry Christmas.
The Fairbanks chapter of Sir Optimus International took over the program about 3 years ago.
Merry Christmas from the Senior Wish Tree and Sir Optimus. Well, thank you.
In Fairbanks Sunday, members of the Sir Optimus Club sorted donated gifts and delivered them to local senior housing units.
Sorry. Merry Christmas.
Oh, thank you.
This is one for 304, and this one is for 308.
Okay.
So I'd leave it here. Okay? All right?
This year, 155 seniors were to receive gifts in Fairbanks.
Hi. Here you go. This is a Merry Christmas from the Senior Wish Tree and Sir Optimus. Yes. Merry Christmas to you. Yeah.
Monty Bowen, News Center 11.
Well, this is the time of the year when it's cold outside. There's always something going on in the local gym. What's going on in sports?
Oh, yeah. Well, over the weekend, we had some high school basketball teams. They took some L's, unfortunately, over the weekend in some tournaments. We'll see what happened. And the Ice Dogs, they were back in the Big Dipper, and we'll see how they did as well. That in the sports coming up next.
Brought to you by the Law Office of Rita T. Alley. Peace of mind through professional legal services.
Hello, Interior Alaska. Joe Cook here. Once again, the sports seat for you. It's Monday. You know what that means. It's time for your weekend recap. So let's get started. Over the weekend, the defending 3A champion Monroe Catholic Rams did something they haven't done in a long time, and that's lose soundly. The Rams faced the Service Cougars in the championship of the Cougar Tip-Off Tournament and fell 60-36. The score was 34-9 at halftime in favor of the Cougars. Service was the 4A state runner-up to Diamond last year and sent the Rams to their first loss in, get this, 328 days. That loss was back in January to Diamond. The Rams are now 4-1 on the year. And also the North Pole Patriots girls basketball team, they took more than a loss over the weekend as well. They fell in the Kenai River Challenge Championship game 67-27 to Soldotna Stars. Senior Erica Croxon led the Patriots with 15 points, but fellow seniors Reagan Smothers, she left the game in the third quarter with a severe nosebleed, and Josie Broderick was sidelined with a knee injury that occurred in the second quarter. The Patriots' next game is Friday against Eielson. On Saturday, the Eielson Ravens hosted the Delta Huskies in a doubleheader. The Ravens still trying to notch their first win of the year. Delta started the game strong and answered this Javante Kincaid putback with a 12-4 run to close the first quarter with a 14-6 lead. The Huskies hit from inside and outside with Jim Crabtree hitting 15 points and Aaron Williams also with 15 points. The Huskies led 29-15 at halftime and at one point in the third had a 17-point lead. Javante Kincaid tried to rally his team to a comeback behind this strong game of 27 points. The Ravens eventually cut the deficit to 9 points late in the third, but the Huskies were too much for the Ravens and they would win 52-43. In the girls' game, the ladies Ravens went back and forth. The Lady Huskies in the first quarter. First play of the game, and Yvonne Johnson, she got the Ravens on the board. And just a few minutes later, Teresa McCoy, she would get the and one in the jumper. And the Ravens had a 7-2 lead early. McCoy had 21 points, but the Huskies answered with Deanna Lennox. She was the big girl inside, and it was a 16-15 Huskies lead at the end of the first. And then it was Jess Reeder, the takeover. Reeder, she was connected from outside. She even hit a 4-point play in the second quarter. She would convert all of her free throws, going 11 for 11. The Huskies separated themselves with a 9-point lead at halftime. Reeder had 17 points at the half and finished with a game-high 27 points. Reeder made 8 threes against Lathrop and hit 4 against the Ravens. The Huskies win 59-41, and they take the Aurora Conference game. And finally tonight, the Fairbanks Ice Dogs were back home this weekend, taking on the Kenai Brown Bears, and the Ice Dogs, they got it done. They evened the ERA Alaska Cup Series at 3-all from this weekend sweep of the Bears. On Friday night, the Ice Dogs made their first win as dramatic as ever, 0.6 of a second. That's the opportunity Garrett Clement had, and he took advantage for the Ice Dogs for a 3-2 win Friday night on a buzzer beater. The Ice Dogs came back from being down 2-1 in the second period before Patrick Newell's goal tied it. On Saturday, the Ice Dogs continued their opportunistic play on Saturday night. It was tied 2-2 going to the third period until David Lowe broke that tie at the 3:24 mark with his goal from the right edge. Kevin Aldridge's 30 saves and the defense, they did their part, thwarting any comeback for Kenai, and the Ice Dogs won on Saturday night 3-2 as well. David Lowe talks about the winning play.
We talked about it on the bench the shift before, that we were going to make sure we got in front of the net, and I put myself in the right position, fortunately, and I was lucky enough. Madry made a good pass right on my tape, put it in the back of the net.
Well, I don't think we came out super mentally focused tonight, so it was just a matter of the brains turning on a little bit, and the feet will follow the brains. So, our guys did a good job of battling back, and fortunate to get the win tonight.
Now the Ice Dogs are in second place behind Wenatchee, 44-40 points in the West Division. The Ice Dogs made a pit stop in Fairbanks. They'll be back on the road after their Christmas break. Their next game is on the 28th in Fresno, California. And that'll do it for sports tonight. Thanks for rocking with me for a while. Remember, KTVF Sports is on YouTube and Twitter for your sports updates and highlights. Stay cool, Alaska. Mike Schultz has your full weather forecast coming up next. We'll catch you next time.
Hey, how's it going, Mike? Weather?
Well, I'll tell you what, the cold temperatures, once again, we're looking at, like I said, 45 below tonight, and then slowly warming.
Not bad.
That's good news.
Especially, yeah.
You'll be happy with that.
I'll be happy anything that resembles warm. Yeah.
Well, let's take a look at those numbers and show you what they normally look like this time of year. As you can see, our normal high is right around 5 above, the normal low about 13 below. The record high was, 38 in 1909, and the record low 52 below in 1933. That gives us about 10 hours and 56. Actually, the total time works out to 3 hours and 44 minutes. And we're going to talk next about what's going on across the interior right now. As you can see, temperatures, so we are looking at temperatures. Again, they are really cold. The temperatures pretty consistent right here. We're looking at, again, about 45 below in some areas. And otherwise, temperatures will continue quite cold across the interior. 37 below currently at Delta Junction, and we have 39 below at Eielson Air Force Base. What else is going on? Well, you can see against the satellite picture, we're going to be talking again about the satellite picture showing that wisp of clouds moving across the interior. That's going to continue, and that will be giving us our warm air coming in. Now, as far as our numbers across the state today, as you can see, 24 below at Fort Yukon, 37 below at Denali Park, 11 below at Barrow, and Cold Bay, 39 degrees, Kodiak, 27. Ketchikan looking at 32 degrees, and going to the lower 48 right now. We'll be talking again about a little bit of storminess moving across the Central Plains there. That is in response to a pretty good storm system. That storm system will continue to bring more activity. In fact, it shows up on the satellite and radar. As you can see here, a pretty good and massive moisture moving across the Pacific Northwest. That is going to be bringing a lot of weather with it. Have to keep an eye on that. Now, what lies ahead? Well, across the Pacific Northwest and the West Coast tomorrow, it looks like another stormy day. Lots of showers, cold, and snow. And as far as the overall picture for the lower 48, later on this week, more rain across the Pacific Northwest, and over the Northeast, a pretty good storm is expected to develop with milder temperatures over the deep South. Okay, let's take a look at what's going on across the interior and the northern sections of Alaska. Mostly cloudy at Barrow, partly cloudy for Nome, ice fog in Fort Yukon. 45 below for the high tomorrow in Fort Yukon. Tomorrow, interior Alaska will be looking at ice fog diminishing by noon for Fairbanks and Denali Park. And over southeast Alaska, again, we're looking at, for the most part, some decreasing clouds for Juneau, scattered snow showers in Ketchikan, and over to the southwest we go, and a mixed bag of weather once again. Snow showers at Bethel and Cold Bay, mixed rain and snow showers in Kodiak Island. And over to the south central regions, again, partly cloudy skies at Anchorage and Valdez, mostly cloudy for Homer. Here's our forecast for tonight. Actually, well, let's take a look at our kids' weather because that is important. We are once again showing our kids' weather. And this week, our kids' weather, we'll tell you right now, kids' weather is going to be for the Nordale Elementary School kids. And tonight, we're looking and talking with a young man, actually a young lady, about a young man, that's right, about an interesting story that happened to him in Arizona.
Hello there, my name is Bailey Bowman, and I'm with my 5th grade teacher, Mr. Harrison, at Northern Elementary. Here's my weather story. At Tucson, Arizona, there was a big weather storm with thunder and lightning, and it knocked out all the power of it. It was really terrific, and it was not happy, and it lasted until in the morning.
And tomorrow night, we'll be once again talking with a young lady, and she'll have a picture of a storm that she experienced in North Carolina. Again, thanks to Mount McKinley Bank for sponsoring our Kids Weather Watch. Tonight's forecast, 44 the overnight low at the airport, continued ice fog, and that will be severe cold temperatures, so make sure you're dressed appropriately. Tomorrow's forecast, warming up a little bit, 25 below, with the fog becoming mainly partly cloudy skies by afternoon. And the good news is the 5-day outlook, again calling for temperatures to slowly warm after Friday and Saturday. We start gaining time back, not time back, but daylight back as we hit the beginning of winter, and temperatures rising to near 5 degrees by Sunday. Overnight lows still pretty chilly at night, but warming up, and that's a good sign.
So we'll start gaining daylight on Friday.
Exactly.
Or Saturday.
Saturday.
Okay, so you made it through it.
Oh, I did?
Yeah, well, then we're going to get as dark as it's going to get. Will be Friday.
Oh, okay.
Okay. All right, that will wrap up this edition of the Fairbanks Evening News. As always, we are glad you could join us.
Tonight on NBC Nightly News, the investigation at Sandy Hook Elementary continues, and that's next with Brian Williams.
Be sure and check us out on webcenter11.com and on Facebook.
All right, from all of us here at the News Center, we hope you have a great night, Fairbanks.